This is Sam Vaughn for Sam's Sports Report. We're going to start with baseball and start with the Royals and Diamondbacks. Boby Whit Jr. grabbed a triple but did not score in the first inning. Score 0-0. Drew Waters scored on a single to make it 1-0. Kevin Newman doubled, and right after that pitch, Alec Thomas doubled on the next pitch to score a run. And then a home run by Kendall Marte to make it 3-1. And the bottom of the third, Boby Whit Jr. let it off with a double. And Vinny Pasquantino would single, and Salvador Perez would hit one out to make it 4-3. Kyle Isbell would double to score another run. Miguel Garcia scores. In the third, Adam Frazier would single off a soft bunt, ground ball. Then Boby Whit Jr. would hung a homer again. This time it was a 3-run shot to give the Royals an 8-3 lead after adding another one. 8-3 Royals on a 3-run shot by Boby Whit Jr. He was having a day. He had a home run, a double, and a triple, and was trying to go for the first cycle. And then Hunter Renfroe homered. And then in the bottom of the sixth, Boby Whit Jr. was hit by a pitch. And retaliation came from there. In the top of the seventh, catcher Gabriel Marno was hit by a pitch, and the drama started from me there. Here's that drama. Salvador Perez was not happy when Boby Whit Jr. first got hit, and then he was really pissed after that. Here's that.
1 on, 2 out. Knew that was coming. Now, they have to do this, see, so whenever that happens, umpires are told to, talking it over, what are we going to do? Warn the guys now to see if they, everyone will warn them. Had a guy that was hit. We had a guy that was hit. And you move on. Crowd is fired up. Q's coming out because he wants to get Salvi out of the conversation. You saw how angry Salvi was when Junior got hit. I don't fully understand this one, and Torey Lovullo is a very respected baseball man in the game, and yet his team is down by 7. Boby Whit Jr. was hit on the arm. Gabriel Moreno was hit on the back, and usually it's over and you move on. Now, if this was a 1 or 2 run game, I could understand what Torey Lovullo is saying, because once a warning has been issued, the umpires have the freedom to automatically eject the pitcher and the manager out of the game. So you take some strategy out of the game. The pitchers are afraid to throw inside because they might get ejected. But this is a 7-run game in the 7th inning.
Cole Reagan's got the win last night. As it seemed like he battled the whole night. He might have found his stuff in the 4th. after it was 3-1, and the Royals then took the lead again back, as we said. I'm not sure if he had his best stuff, but he made it through, and Royals won 10-4. Tonight it will be Alec Marsh for the Royals, and Jordan Montgomery will go for the Diamondbacks. He has an ERA of 5.44. Marsh has an ERA of 4.52. Game time is at 6:10. And after the Pittsburgh added one in the third, the Cardinals would add one to tie it in the fifth on a single. But the Pirates would take the lead in the bottom of the eighth on a single also to give the Pirates the lead and eventually the win. Lance Lynn will go for the Cardinals. In the NL All-Star, Paul Skeens will go for the Pirates. He has a really good ERA, 1.90, the best in baseball. He was charged with, this will be a tough game for the Cardinals. Cubs and Brewers, Drew Smyly gets the win as the Cubs win 3-1. The question for the Cubs is, will they buy or be sellers? And if they win this series, does that hurt them? Because I think they should be sellers. Tonight, the Milwaukee Brewers and the Cubs will go at it again. The Brewers will have Colin May on the mound. And Jameson Tomlin will go for the Cubs. Game time, 7:05. That's baseball. Wrap up with Learning Disability series. With the learning disability, I didn't know any difference because I never knew a difference of not being diagnosed when I was 5. I knew I had it. With having dyslexia, it is hard to comprehend. I think it's probably a harder thing for me to read, but if I read at the 10th grade level, I can read a newspaper. At just the 8th or 5th grade level, I can read a newspaper. I can understand most of the time what I'm reading. My handwriting sucks, and it's a little demoralizing when you have to write in front of people, and you can't use a computer. Nowadays, with the computer, it does help to better my handwriting. The biggest deal still is my mental health disorder with schizoaffective, and that's when I was diagnosed when I was 26. That's the most hard one. Here's more on learning disabilities and being diagnosed.
Hi everyone, I'm Catherine Chloe Cahoon, and today isn't my usual type of video. I am discussing something that honestly I've never talked about publicly, and I really even hate talking about it privately, but I keep running into people who are going through something similar. So I'm hoping that if this video even helps one person, that then it was worth it. So I am discussing the struggle of growing up with dyslexia and dysgraphia. For those of you who don't know, those are learning disabilities, and they make reading and writing extremely difficult. And in my case, talking was difficult. I don't mean just like sitting down and talking with someone that I'm close with, but standing up and talking in front of people, or even on a video like this used to be, I can't even express how excruciating it was, because I would have to stop and think about what I was saying so that my words wouldn't come out backwards. And I really didn't want to make a fool of myself. So I didn't always know that I was dyslexic or dysgraphic, but I realized that I began having problems in elementary school when I was in first grade, and we were all learning how to read, and we were each given one book, and we'd go into our reading room and we would read it, and then the idea was to go on to the next book. But the problem was I never went on to the next book, at least not for weeks. Our first book was Green Eggs and Ham. And my teacher started getting extremely frustrated with me because, first of all, I was calling it eggs, green, and ham. And I remember her saying to me that, Catherine, just read what's on the page. And I would tell her, I am reading what's on the page. Like, to me, that's what the words looked like. But still, I wasn't that upset about it. I thought, oh, well, I'll go the whole year on this eggs, green, and ham business, but whatever. While every single other person in the class had moved on. But I remember the first time in which I truly felt like humiliated. It's hard to describe. I came into school, and